Hey everyone, welcome back to Runway Life. Today, we've got a very special guest, Daniel Borquez. He is the winner of our 5-hour giveaway, but this is also a much deeper conversation about making a transition in life from what you need to do for money to what you want to do for a living. Daniel's an awesome guy. Stick around and watch this episode. It's worth every second. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate you being here. Won the 5-hour giveaway, but coincidentally, you were just about to leave your job to basically become a pilot full time, right?
Exactly. That was the plan. That's what was happening at that moment.
So let's unpack that for a second, because I mean, honestly, the story is absolutely amazing for me. That we managed to, kind of help somebody change their life, right? So you were a semi-truck driver, right?
Yes.
Full-time, traveling
Yes.
all over the country.
Yes.
Okay. And you'd already made the decision you were going to leave that behind. You've been basically working for how many years now?
I was working for about 5-6 years or so.
To make the change and say,
Exactly.
I am going to
getting myself prepared for the change.
That's insane. Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts.
So basically, I can tell you how I got involved into trucking in the first place.
Okay.
So getting involved into trucking happened right around the pandemic, right when the pandemic was starting.
Right.
So what happened is I used to live a regular life just like everybody else. I had my little cars, I had my little toys and whatever. Half of the things that I had, I did not own. Right. I was paying monthly payments on half of the things. I had horses back in the day.
Really?
Yes, I had 3 horses.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I was paying stable rent, in order to keep them. And, I was just working a regular retail job back in the day, keeping up with my stuff. And then when the pandemic came around, I got laid off.
Right.
Everything. I lost everything. Everything I had, gone. The horses, I couldn't feed them anymore, so I had to get rid of them. I got laid off from my work, and I couldn't make my car payments, nothing. I just slowly started to see how everything was being taken away.
Right.
And then at that point, I decided to change the mindset of how I was going to manage myself moving forward, economically and my life choices,
Right.
And at the time, my fiance was working a full-time job, retail, and I actually convinced her to quit her job so that we can go trucking.
Wow.
So that we can go trucking so that we can get ourselves back in our feet. Because at the moment, I was trying to figure it out. Everybody rather stay home.
Yeah.
And versus going to work, because some of these people were making more money staying home, with all the money that the government was giving away and stuff. I didn't want to do none with that.
Right.
I didn't want to deal with it. I wanted to work. I always liked to work. So at that moment, I convinced her, hey, let's go over the road. Everything that we have up until now, we can put it into a storage room.
Right.
So I grabbed sofas, beds, anything that we had in the apartment at that time. We put it in the storage room. And we went over the road. Like I drove over to the training school, which is located in Missouri.
Okay.
Missouri, Springfield, Missouri. I drove like 18 hours straight nonstop.
Which school did you use?
School?
Yeah.
I went to a school in Missouri. It's called Prime Inc.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I went over there. And that's where I got my training done and I got my license. And then I started working for them. As soon as I passed my license test and everything, I got hired through them. And I went through all the requirements and training until I was able to lease a truck from them. And that's how I started trucking over the road solo. Then I drove back to Florida in the truck with my CDL, picked up my fiance, and we went driving over the road. That's pretty much how it happened.
And you did that for,
I did that for quite some time. It was about a little bit over 2 years or so. I was over the road. And then it's been a period of 5 to 6 years because after I got out of over the road, I found a local job doing the same thing, driving trucks. I just wasn't out on the street, out of country anymore. Yeah. And the local job, it was hauling fuel. Okay. So I used to deliver fuel and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much how it happened. But this entire time that I was trucking, I was thinking about moving in the future to flying. I wanted to be a pilot.
So when did that happen? When were you bitten with the bug of I want to be a pilot?
Well, it's always been on my mind.
Right.
It's always been in my mind. In the previous job, I had so many previous jobs where I was always close to a plane.
Right.
Like I used to work back in the day for a mobile fleet maintenance company. Like we would go out to the airport specifically, and the rental vehicles that they got over there, I used to do the maintenance on those vehicles.
Right.
Like do the oil change the tires and stuff like that. I used to do that, and the vehicles that I serviced, they were always parked to the side. And you can see over here, for example, in MCO, they got the planes from Frontier and in Spirit. They park them off to the side over there in the corner of the airport. And I used to be like, there would be like a fence right here. The planes will be right here, and the cars will be right here. So I was just all day staring at the plane. Staring at the plane. And I see it always like, oh my God, that's so cool. People used to come, took a look at them, people that work in the airport. And I'm like, one day I'm going to be in one of those planes.
Yeah.
And it's always been in my head. I just wasn't able to make the move at that time.
Right.
You know, I wanted to prepare and make sure that if I'm going to take the step forward, once I take the step forward, I don't want to go back.
That's awesome.
I don't want to go back. I want to make sure that when I step foot in it, I'm ready to go.
So at this point, you know, basically you're, probably 12 hours in, 15 hours into flying?
Nah, less. Probably like 5 hours.
Okay.
5 hours, yeah. The weather hasn't helped much, but.
Well, we get so many great flying days throughout the year.
Yeah, definitely.
And then it just kind of trickles back a little bit, right?
That's part of Florida.
Yep. I woke up this morning and I looked out the window. I'm like, oh no, there's like fog. And then I drove up and I'm like, oh, it didn't hit you. But we're so close to the lake, we actually do get a lot of the kind of lake effect, if you would. It's got its own little microclimate going on every now and again. So
definitely.
So what is the ultimate goal now then? So you're going to get through, obviously, your private.
Yes.
I mean, first off, I take my hat off to you for the financial planning aspect of it. Everything that you've done and saving up. And then also what you did with pivoting the 5 free flight hours into the Bravo Busters membership was, genius. Congratulations, round of applause.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
That's probably going to save you. Rough numbers, I've got to say, it's probably about $5,000.
Yeah, definitely.
It's training path.
It seems like it was meant to be because I initially came here just to take a test.
Yep.
I walked in here to take a written test, and as soon as I passed the written test and I walked out the room, I was just staring out the window and looking at the planes. And I actually came here on a Thursday, so I was able to see the atmosphere for what it really is. Yeah. You know, there was people taking their check rides, and I love to see how every time somebody would pass a check ride, they would walk in that door and you guys would actually cheer them and, you know, they're all happy and play some music. I think that's really nice because it helps students to motivate themselves to, like, moving forward.
Yeah.
You know.
That's awesome.
Yes, I love that. And, you know, that kind of helped me. I was like, man, I really like this place. I might as well just sign up. And then I ended up signing up, and then it just so happened I also won the 5 hours of flight time, and that's when I met you. And I was like, man, like, this is the time. Like it just happened back to back, and I just feel really grateful and excited to be here, and it's awesome. It's been awesome.
Well, I mean, you know, you and I have talked off camera a couple of times. I'm here because of passion, right?
Yeah.
You know, I own a couple of different companies, and fortunately, they afford me a little bit of leverage to do some different things.
Definitely.
And when Adam and I were talking. You know, this got started as a passion project. Adam agreed to do a little bit of sponsorship into it. And then when he needed somebody, I was like, dude, I'll come up and help you out for, 3 or 6 months. So just being here reignites everything for me to do with aviation and just getting a chance to talk to students, help out the marketing and sales and that kind of stuff. It's absolutely awesome. But I love being here. And at this point, he's probably going to have to remove me with a wrecking ball. So, so the real goal now is going to be obviously through private, into instrument, and then commercial. I'm assuming you're probably going to want to do CFI after
Definitely, that. I would love to because like when I'm at home, everything that I learn every time I come here to school, I get back home and I talk to my fiance. I'll be like, look what I learned today. So this, when you do this, this happens. And when you do this, this happens. And she's just like trying to grab all the information at the same time. But it's because I'm excited to tell her when I learned something. And you know, that's how you can tell that you have a passion for what you're doing.
Yeah.
I can tell you waking up in the morning, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning to get here. I don't fly until 8 o'clock.
Right.
And on my way over here, it's early. A lot of people don't like to wake up early. I don't like to wake up early. But when I'm driving over here, I got a 45-minute drive. I love coming here.
Yeah.
Like the whole way, I'm singing, I'm dancing, I'm happy because I'm coming here. I'm coming to do something that actually makes me feel happy. Every time I would drive to work, when I was trucking, I was always mad.
Yeah.
I would wake up mad because I'm going to do something that I don't enjoy as much. That's the difference when you do things for passion versus when you do them for money.
Yeah.
Trucking for me, maybe for other people it's a passion. For me, it wasn't.
Right.
For me, it was just a step into my actual goals. You know, I was just doing it for the money. That's it. Flying, though, is more a passion thing. You know, that's why as long as I'm coming here and I'm learning, I'm happy.
I remember through all of my flight training, and I've been very lucky, right? I've made best friends with my flight instructor.
Yeah.
You know, he was still ultimately responsible in the cockpit, but the relationships and the friendships that are forged during flight training, especially with your instructor, they just last for a lifetime. I'm actually going to be his best man in his wedding.
Look at that.
November.
Look at that. That's awesome. That's how you know that things are meant to be.
Yep.
When things like that happen, it just falls freely.
Yep.
You don't have to force anything. It's great.
So, does your fiance kind of gloss over while you're telling her everything because she gets confused, or is she actually starting to understand a lot of it and want to be more and more involved?
She understands some of it. And sometimes she tells me to shut up. She's be like, "Hey, you're telling me too much. You're the one that needs to learn this, not me." You know. But it's just that I'm so excited to talk about it. You know, the things that I learn every day. I have to say it to somebody.
Yep.
She's the only one there.
Yep.
You know.
You got to share the experience. Right?
Exactly. And she supports me a lot. She's actually very happy that I finally made the decision to go for this, because I thought about it for a really long time. I just didn't feel like I was mentally prepared, physically prepared, and economically prepared. You know, I wanted to make sure I was 100% prepared to go ahead and do it.
That's awesome.
You know, and the day finally came.
And you were up with Derek this morning, right?
Yes, I was up with Derek this morning.
As everybody knows, Derek is the producer of this show, and he is sitting right over there.
Yep,
so
there he is.
How was flying with him?
Awesome. I feel like he definitely has a lot of knowledge. A lot of knowledge. Very quick to respond to what he needs to do.
Right.
And I love the way that he explains the things when we're up there, because he's very clear on what you need to do and what the aircraft is going to do when you input certain controls.
Right.
You know, he's very clear. You know, when you move the yoke this way, this is going to happen. Work for it. And that's exactly what happens. I like the clear instructions and the patience that he has.
Yeah.
You know, he tells me that I'm a little bit too harsh on myself because I expect to get it very quick. But it's because I'm also I want to make sure I'm doing it. I want to make sure I'm doing everything right. And that's not only with flying, it's with everything I do. You know, if I'm going to, like, for example, clean the table, when I clean the table, I want to make sure I did not leave any marks.
Yeah.
And that's with everything that I do.
I'm very much the same way.
Yes.
And he actually had the same conversation with me just last week.
Gotcha.
About, dude, it's fine. You know, you did great. You did great.
Yeah.
Like 3.5 years out of a cockpit, bro. You don't need to lie to me. But he is absolutely awesome.
Yes, it's great. I'm trying to work myself to someday have the amount of knowledge that he has or more.
Yeah.
Very smart dude.
Yeah. And you've got Abby as your primary instructor as well, right?
Yes.
Another amazing instructor.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. You know, she knows a lot. And it actually, she impresses me. And this is something that I believe I've told her. Just at the age that she's in, I'm not going to discuss her age over here, but the age that she has and the amount of knowledge that she has and how far she's gone, it's like, it's impressive. When you're that age, you don't have your mind set the way that she has it. You know, she's very clear on her goals and what she wants to do. And I can obviously tell, not because she's told me, but because look at where she's at.
Yep.
You know, and that's amazing. I see her and I'm like, damn, it's so awesome. It's awesome. You know,
She's one of the best.
yes, and
Awesome.
she's great.
I mean, we got a really good group of instructors, but you know, she ranks really high for me. She's super cool, super cool. Okay, so what? You're 5 hours in. Any hang-ups so far that you're kind of going through? Everybody has those plateaus at little different areas. So,
Yeah.
you know, at this point, I'm sure you've got a few nerves in your stomach because you know solo's going to be coming inside, you know, X amount of hours.
Yeah, I do get nervous. Every time I get in the plane, I get nervous because I want to make sure I do things right.
Right.
And just thinking about it in my head, thinking, oh my God, I hope I don't mess this up. It just gets me really nervous. But as far as flying, I love being up there. Like, I don't even, you know, worry about, oh, I'm up this high. I just like being up there. Now, the ground knowledge for me is something that I can learn pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
But getting used to doing the certain maneuvers and stuff like that, remembering the steps, that's when I can struggle a little bit. And it's also before, you know, Derek tells me you're just starting to learn it.
Yeah.
So don't be so harsh, but I just expect so much of myself. I want to get it right there and there.
Yeah, well, I'm scared of heights, just in case you
Really?
didn't know. But I'm only scared of heights if I'm on a building, right?
Ah, there you go.
Up in the air, it doesn't necessarily get me at all, right? But we actually had somebody else on that was deathly afraid of heights, right?
Oh.
And his first, 5 hours was basically spent with the instructor flying him around so that he could desensitize
So he could get comfortable.
himself.
There you go.
My only problem, and it's honestly, you would think that it's very much the other way, right? Oh no, people are scared of heights up, up in the air.
Yeah.
The building's not going to move at all, and it's not going to change.
Yeah.
Right? Nope.
I'm not afraid of heights. I'm more afraid of water.
Mm-hmm.
Water. I cannot swim.
Oh, I love the water. Right?
I cannot swim whatsoever. I never learned to swim.
I'll tell you what. We'll go flying together, and then I'll teach you how to swim, and I'll put you on some scuba gear just in case.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Well, I think that covers it. Have you got anything else that you want to share with anyone?
I just want to. I would like to say, there's people out there that are probably thinking about doing this career, and they think that it's impossible. It's not impossible. It's just not impossible. This is something that you definitely can't do. You can do it. You just got to plan for it and prepare. And it's gonna get hard. It's not gonna be easy because if it was easy, anybody would do it. You know, there's a reason why there's a lot of regulations when it comes to flying. They want to make sure that you know the stuff. You know, especially if you're thinking about going into the airlines or flying people around. You want to make sure that you're staying safe when you're doing these things, and it's actually very fun. Flight school is not bad as some people might think. It's actually very fun every time you're learning things. I feel like throughout the whole aviation career, flight school might be the most fun and exciting that you're ever gonna have, because once you get like that goal job that you have in mind, it just becomes like an everyday thing.
Yep.
Like, you get so used to it, and a lot of people tell me this. You get used to it, like it becomes like a regular job. But when you're in flight school and you're learning something new every day, it's very exciting. It's very exciting, and I want to tell people out there, if you're thinking about it, stop thinking about it. Go ahead and do it. Obviously, make sure you plan for it. It is possible, to pay cash for this. I can say it. It is possible if you think about what are you willing to give up for aviation? How bad do you want it? You want to make, if you don't want to get yourself in any debt, you can plan to save the money, no matter how long it takes you so that you can come in here and do what you want to do. Now, if you want to take the loan route, I don't have anything against it. That's more a preference things.
Yep.
But I personally wanted to pay cash for it because I didn't want to have that headache in the back of my head. Oh my God, I own this amount of money. And that debt is just racking up in the back of your head. And that's the only thing that you think about. I don't want to think about that. I want to focus on my training 100%.
Yeah.
And that's why I prepare for it, And that's pretty much all I got to say to people, you know.
That's awesome, dude. I'll just say it. I know your age range. You are the most well-spoken, intelligent, and down-to-earth of your age group that I have spoken to in a very long time. So
really, Thanks.
Keep
Thank
kicking
you.
ass. Keep kicking ass.
Thank
okay?
you. I appreciate it.
Right. Take care. Stay safe, everyone. And I'm sure Derek's going to put another video somewhere around here for you to take a look at. Thanks.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.